Hi, my name is Kerry Critchlow from RCR Recording Studios, and today we're going to be talking about how to EQ your drum rooms. Now, drum rooms are basically the reverb for your drums, and so if you are recording in a small room or don't have particularly good sounding room mics, don't worry about that. You can use this to think about the drum reverb instead, if you will. But when you're EQing, you want to think about frequency ranges, not specific frequencies. So somewhere in the 50 to 200 hertz range is where you're going to find low-end rumble, beef, or power. You can either boost or attenuate to taste in order to add or take away these things. 400 to 800 hertz is where you're going to find boxiness, muddiness, or room. 1000 to 2000 hertz is where you're going to find your stick sound and kind of your attack. 5000 to 8000 hertz is where you're going to find the presence, aggressiveness, and harshness. And so you can, again, boost or attenuate or take away these frequencies in order to get the sound you're looking for. And we'll get into an example here. So I'm going to turn up our room mics so that you can hear the EQ moves I'm making a little easier. But this is going to be a little louder than maybe you'd actually want your room mics to be. And then I'm going to just really quickly do a quick EQ and kind of put this where I think it ought to be, but this is to taste, right? So do what you feel feels right and sounds good to you. Okay, so you can see I've high passed a little bit up to around that 50, 60 hertz range just to get rid of some of that low stuff. We've boosted a little bit around the 80 to 100 hertz range in order to add just a little bit more power and low end energy. I've taken away a little bit around that 700K-ish area in order to get rid of some of the muddiness that can be there. I've boosted a bit around that 1.5K, 2K hertz range just in order to brighten it up a bit. And I tamed a little bit of the top end by pulling out some of the 8K and above frequencies just so that it wasn't overly bright. Again, boost or attenuate to your own tastes and your own preferences. If you don't have, but this is what it sounds like before. And this is after. Okay. And if you don't have this type of EQ, you can always use stock plugins. Anything with 4 bands and a low pass or a high pass filter rather will work. And so we're going to high pass and everything kind of around that 50 hertz. We're going to go ahead and boost around that 100 hertz range, give or take. We're going to suck out a little bit of the, that 700 hertz-ish range. Boost a little bit around that 1.5K range and suck out around that 8K and above range, right? So this is before. And this is after. Okay. To review, we are going to be looking for frequency ranges, and these are what you can add or take away, boost or attenuate in order to get more or less of these things. So for low-end rumble, beef, and power, you're looking for at that 50 to 200 hertz range. 400 to 800 hertz range is where you're going to find boxiness, muddiness, and room. 1000 to 2000 hertz, we're going to find stick sound and attack. 5000 to 8000 hertz, where you're going to find presence, aggressiveness, and harshness. Boost or attenuate these ranges to taste in order to get more or less of these things. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.